This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. Plus Alex.
That's me.
It's that week. It's that week that Muff and we're friends, but we don't talk a lot.
Today's Monday, October 24th. This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. We've come off a interesting college football NFL weekend. One that will have some excitement going into this week's betting episode.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to ruin everybody. Remember, we do have the sports betting episode, Sports Stuff Betting Stuff, coming out every Thursday morning for you all to follow as well. We're still on the promotion train, 100 YouTube subscribers by the end of this month. Doesn't look like we're going to get there. But that just means we have a new goal for next month.
Gotta have faith.
Remember, get on there, subscribe, rate, review, comment, hit the bell, do all those things. You can follow us as well on other social media, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube, at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe, comment, like, retweet, share, tickle, all of the actions. As a reminder, I am Muff. I am the person who steers this rudderless ship. I'm also joined by
Jim, the Ohio Homer. Oh, here
we go. And Alex, the medical degenerate.
Okay. Since we no longer have baseball season, we were following the Pirates throughout baseball season with, for some unknown and ungodly reason, updating people on how they were doing. So now that we're into hockey season as well, we're going to follow that journey for Pittsburgh sports fans, the Yinzer population. Alex, how are the Penguins doing?
The Pittsburgh Penguins are doing well so far. They are 4-1 with a total of 9 points because their one loss came in overtime. So in hockey, you get 2 points for an outright win, 1 point if you end the game tied in regulation, and then the extra point if you win in overtime, and not a point if you lose.
I'm glad somebody explained that.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, thank you.
You're welcome. So they're at 9. They're first in their division, Metropolitan Division. They're up by a point, and they beat the Columbus Blue Jackets this past weekend 6-3. They go to Edmonton tomorrow, or if you're listening to this today, to face the 2-3 Oilers of Canada.
So they're at the top of their division. Columbus is next to the bottom. But you know who is second from the top of the Pacific Division? Las Vegas, baby. Vegas.
Which you want to switch your fandom next week as well?
Well, hold on. The Kraken are third.
Okay. Which team is it?
Well, first off, Columbus is always number one, and they're not doing well. Okay.
So we're going to slip in these other teams. Got it.
That's a true blue. That's how you do it.
Literally what Jim does on every sport, and I'm okay with it because
except for college football, yeah.
Well, that's not true. If Ohio State had a down year in college football, Jim would sneak in.
No.
Ole Miss or somebody. Be like,
that's not true. You stay with Ohio State. That's not true.
Every once in a while, where he might jump on like a Syracuse train or something weird, but
if I'm betting, but my fandom stays with one team.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
So, what about Vegas, Jim?
Vegas is second in the Pacific, and the Kraken are third.
All right. Bring this into this week's NFL breakdown. First, starting with Thursday Night Football, the Saints versus the Cardinals, in a rare high-scoring affair, an entertaining Thursday night game. Jeff Bezos must have put some money somewhere to make something happen here. The Cardinals...
he shut the servers down on the Call of Duty that night.
Yeah.
That also could have actually happened. The Cardinals explode for 25 points in the second quarter and hang on for a 42-34 win. DeAndre Hopkins returns after his six-game suspension for the Cardinals, and he was part of the difference, leading the way with 10 receptions and 100-plus yard receiving in this game.
Well, and Marquise Brown was out for the Cardinals.
He also stopped what's-his-face from beating up the coach.
Well,
a lot of names you just tossed out there. I'm not sure who any of those people are.
What's the quarterback's name for the Cardinals?
You're talking about Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury?
Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins got there and was like, hey, you're short. You don't want to throw this punch. I know you're upset about Call of Duty. I know your clan got beat this morning, but let's not beat up Kingsbury right now.
So DeAndre Hopkins back from his suspension Does this give us any other thoughts about how the Cardinals may go moving forward?
It's
Maybe.
not gonna hurt them.
Right. It should make them more competitive overall.
I think the only issue, like I said, is Hollywood Brown goes on to the IR.
Yeah.
So they're kind of. I mean, I will say Hopkins is better, but they would have a more market increase if you had Hollywood Brown and DeAndre Hopkins as targets for Kyler Murray. I made a rookie mistake and reset my fantasy lineups, and then closed the apps without saving. So Friday morning when I got on, I was like, "Oh crap! I left Hollywood Brown in my lineups."
Oh, rookie move.
Move.
Rookie move. Next into Sunday football, Ravens taking on the Browns. Ravens find a way to hang on to a second half lead because they haven't been able to do that much this year, despite a lackluster offensive performance. But it is enough to win 23-20 over the Browns to maintain control of the AFC North.
So next week, let me make sure. Hold on, before I go down that rabbit hole, can we just talk for a second that Jacoby Brissett fumbled the ball? He is trash. The kicker, the field goal kicker, not very good.
Cade York, right?
Yeah.
Was drafted.
Who after week one, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, thank goodness
Yeah.
Cleveland finally has a kicker."
Not very good. Okay. And then, like, if you're Nick Chubb, you got to be like, why am I on this team?
I mean, he is a shining star in that situation. I mean, don't get me wrong. So, just so we're clear, 22 of 27 with 258 yards and a lost fumble is an absolute dog shit performance to you.
I did not say that. I said he's dog shit. The performance was okay. He did fumble the ball because that's what he does. He can't hold on to it for crap. And he just is not a good player. He had a good day today. But that fumble was also at a crucial point in the game, like he's done for 3 weeks. Like when it comes down like to the listen, Jacoby, we need you to like just get us to the point of where we can hand the ball off to Chubb. He gets right to that point. He's like, "Oh, I dropped it," or "Oh, I threw an interception. We were so close." He's like that clown that just ruins everything. Says surprise too early.
Giants, Jaguars. Speaking of clowns, Jaguars are playing. They play the Giants this week. The Giants start out slow in this one. It looked like the Jags may be on their way to victory, but the Giants scored 10 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to win 23-17. Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones rush for 100-plus yards, and Trevor Lawrence throws for 300-plus, and Travis Etienne also rushes for 100-plus.
I feel as though the Jags are missing just a couple pieces. Like they're a good team, but they're just when I watched the offense for the Giants march down on them, and I watched some of the lack of protection for what's his face? Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. They're just missing a couple pieces that I think the Jags could eventually be good if they don't screw this up.
Well, they're moving, exponentially closer to the right direction after they got rid of Urban Meyer.
Yes, for sure.
Panthers and Buccaneers. The Bucs are in TROUBLE, as Billy Ray Cyrus would say, after losing a laugher to the, we would have thought, hapless Panther squad, 21-3. Ooh. The Bucs only have 46 rushing yards and really couldn't get it moving all day. No Christian McCaffrey. No problem for the Panthers, who have Dante Foreman step up with a big game, 118 yards on the ground. PJ Walker tosses 2 scores for the Panthers, who get only their second win of the season over Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
So I really wanted the Bucs to win this game as a Yinzer, because now I'm like, oh wait, no, the Bucs just suck. Because I was like, yeah, we beat freaking Tom Brady last week, and then I was like, oh shit, so did the Panthers. Like we're just as bad as I thought we were.
But Brady was 32 for 49 with 290 yards and could only get 3 points on the board.
Well, I will say to start this game, Mike Evans dropped a wide open long bomb touchdown pass that you do not see Mike Evans drop this ball often. And I think that took the wind out of their sails from the gate. Like, I think had they done that, the Bucks would have been like, all right, we're rolling. But I just feel like that was enough to like
Got him.
yeah, Evans was off. He had another pass that went off his hands. Like, he jumped for it, but it went off his hands. And he's usually pretty rock steady, so that didn't help the case.
Do you think we sit old Tommy?
No.
No.
There's no
Do
way
I think Tom
Tom's
Brady
sit.
quits in the middle of the season? Possible.
How much of his personal life do you think's bleeding into this?
He didn't have a terrible day.
But I think he looks deflated out there. He does not look like Tom Brady of old. I would not at all be surprised if this happens a couple more games and he's just like, guys, I'm beat up. I want to take care of my personal stuff. Thanks for the ride. I'm out.
Yeah.
Could happen. Or he goes, hey Rob, we got a situation down here.
Yeah.
You in? You in? Rob, you in? Cameron Brate went down. You in? So we'll see. We'll talk more about Christian McCaffrey after the Chiefs-Niners breakdown. Obviously a big move that happened in the NFL this week. Next, we go on to the Commanders versus the Packers.
Tell us, Muff, how was that?
Taylor Heineke takes over for the injured Carson Wentz and makes the most of this opportunity, being Aaron Rodgers and the Packers 23-21. Heineke tosses 2 touchdowns to lead a balanced Washington attack, while the Packers only muster 38 rushing yards in this one and fall to 3-4 and are on a downward trend at the moment.
So it's the rushing attack's fault. Is that what we're saying, Mr. Made the Notes?
I'm saying that if it's an issue for Tom Brady, it's even a worse issue for Aaron Rodgers right now.
Could he be losing a step, Muff?
I mean, do you want to pull up his stat line again, Jim? Do we need to do that
That's
again?
what I'm doing.
Every time this is what I do, because
23 of 35 for 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it's the rush. All right.
He's not hurting the team. Obviously, the defense, which was touted to be better than average. I'm not going to say they were supposed to be
great in that first half.
Right. And then they just
score.
Right.
7 of those points are Packers defense.
Right.
Yes.
And then, I mean, from what I saw of this game, which was only a little bit towards the end, there was a lot of rushing yards that were piled up in this one. And then Taylor Heineke was just making the throws he had to. So I'm not hitting the panic button on the Packers yet, but I'm not sitting here saying that it's a good day either.
Okay.
I'm putting a fork in him.
Fork.
Me too.
Fork in the pack. Okay. It's right where Aaron Rodgers wants you. Doubting him. Next, we got the Titans taking on the Colts. Titans outscored the Colts 10-0 in the first half and come away with key takeaways, beating the Colts 19-10. Matt Ryan tosses 2 interceptions, and even with Jonathan Taylor back, Colts are no match for King Henry, who toted the ball 30 times for 128 yards. Titans have quietly improved to 4-2 this season.
Isn't this what they do?
Yep.
Yes.
Like, isn't this how they sneak up on you? And isn't it because of the division they play in?
That helps.
Right.
I'm not going to say it's the only reason, but it definitely does not hurt the cause.
You want my hot take? I think the Colts are garbage.
That's not a hot take.
All right. Well, there's my take. Colts are garbage.
We in fact have said that, and then they just won a couple games. We're like, maybe they're not the worst team in the world.
Yeah, they just need to get it together.
Yeah. Now they're just. I mean, this isn't a terrible loss for them, but it's definitely a game that they could have turned the other way very easily.
Yeah.
Cowboys versus Lions. Dak Prescott returns for Jerry's team, and after a slow start, the Cowboys put it together, winning 24-6 over the Lions. Dak throws for 207 and a touchdown alongside Zeke Elliott's 2 rushing scores. Jared Goff throws 2 interceptions, and recently returned wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown goes out again in this one with a concussion. Cowboys improved to 5-2, while the Lions are now 1-5.
That slow start had Twitter screaming for that other guy. Screaming. Sit Dak.
Yep. I honestly was one of the screamers and kind of thought it. I was like, well, part of me says put Cooper Rush back in. I think it was a ridiculous take, but I did feel that in the moment.
That's fair.
Well, that's the thing is, right? If Dak would not have come back and the Cowboys would not have won, we've been hearing about it all week.
Oh yeah, it would have been bad.
But now that the Cowboys won, it's like, oh God, it's okay, guys. Dak's back. He just needed a quarter or two.
Yeah, needed to warm up a bit.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
if it would have gone the other way, believe me, there would have been a lot of noise all week on that.
Yeah.
Next, we got the Bengals taking on the Falcons. The Bengals toss the rock around in this one. Joe Burrow throws for 481 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 to Jamar Chase, 1 to Tyler Boyd, who led the receivers in the box score with 155 yards, just surpassing Chase's 130. Wow, somebody went deep dive in there.
I just thought cool Tyler Boyd was the leader. He's usually T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. Yeah. So
Burrow also rushed for a touchdown. Joe Mixon follows suit as the Bengals easily win 35-17 over the Falcons. The Bengals take a positive step in a fight for the AFC North title, improving to 4-3.
Play the Browns next week. Should be okay. He was tackled. He was sacked 3 times. I just like keeping a sack count for Joe Burrow. When the contract negotiations come up for Joey, I would have, if I was his agent, I would say you're going to pay him every time his ass touches the ground. Every time.
Or you're going to subtract something from one of the offensive linemen.
Yeah, you're going to pay that man. It's going to be bad.
If he has more than X amount of hurries and Y amounts of sacks in the year, that Joe Burrow will not be buying his offensive lineman any gifts or taking him out to dinner.
They're going to pay Joe.
Great.
So you know it's a down year whenever the AFC North battle was tight and they improved to 4-3.
Yes.
You don't see that often in the AFC North. Usually see the Browns at the bottom and then 3 solid records from at least 2.
I agree with you on that take.
That's it. All right, we're going to skip over and do the Chiefs 49ers last so we can talk more about Christian McCaffrey. Moving to the Chargers versus the Seahawks. The surprising Seahawks get another win over a team that one would not expect, beating the Chargers 37-23. Go ahead, Alex. Do your thing.
Well, this week, Geno Smith was 20 for 27 with 210 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did throw 1 interception. But actually, Geno Smith is on my poop list this week because I had a parlay which included him throwing 225 yards, and he lost that by 15 yards. But back into the positives, Geno Smith throws a quote-unquote block during the last drive of the game to help his team get the first down and keep the clock moving. That was a pitiful block, but the effort was there, and Pete Carroll went nuts. Like, it was a cool play. He literally runs in, he was like, looking, he's like, oh, shit. He just, like, does one of these. But it was exciting. But more importantly than that, in this game, Kenneth Walker III broke out. He had 168 yards and 2 touchdowns, including like a 74-yard touchdown run.
All right.
Hats off to you, sir.
KW3 doing things. Texans versus the Raiders. The
Whoa,
Raiders.
whoa. I understand that Geno's his boy, but do I get to talk about my team?
Go ahead. I mean, do you want to?
Cornerback J.C. Jackson cut it off the field. Another wide receiver, Mike Williams, suffered a probably prolonged ankle injury. Keenan Allen's back, but not a lot to write home about.
Nothing good.
Are you just here to make excuses? Is that what we're doing?
No,
right now?
what I'm saying is I say the Chargers are probably done. Like,
oh, okay.
This is not going to be their year. And they'll still probably hang on to Brandon Staley as a coach, which is
because it's not his fault that people got hurt, right?
Chargers are going to charge.
Charging away. Next, Texans at the Raiders. The Raiders finally put an offensive game together, beating the Texans 38-20 behind a 3-touchdown game from Josh Jacobs, who had 143 yards on the ground on 20 carries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to get into any more of this game unless you two
No,
do.
I mean, that was good.
Game for Josh Jacobs.
The Jets riding to Denver to take on a rustless Broncos squad, doing what you're supposed to do against the backup quarterback, getting the W, improving to 5-2. Jets win 16-9.
The Broncos almost came back with a heroic game-winning drive, but Ripien throws the ball and it bounced off, barely maybe skims a little piece of grass, which they called it. It was an interception, but ultimately came up short. Ripien did not lead the Broncos to victory, but I was really excited because at the time when we were doing this, I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" And he threw an interception to seal the deal, but he didn't.
And the Punisher parlay is still alive.
I can't get excited. I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you can
That's
still be
fine.
excited for it.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for you guys as my friends.
Yes, as my friends. So taking a step backwards in Sunday's slate, Chiefs 49ers in a rematch of Super Bowl 54. The Chiefs pour on the points, beating the 49ers with their new toy in Christian McCaffrey, 44-23. Mahomes made a mistake early, but comes back with vengeance the rest of the game, guiding drives that resulted in a 3-touchdown day for McCole Hardman.
I am, regardless of this outcome, I am impressed with the 49ers and the way they play the game. They're going to catch a lot of people, especially as they get healthier. And I cannot, and I know we talk about him all the time, and we chase after him in our fantasy leagues. McCaffrey is a beast when he gets the ball.
He just needs to not get hurt, which I think he's better suited to not get hurt in San Francisco because he doesn't have to touch the ball 30 plus times a game.
And then, like, can we talk about Mahomes too? Like, the way he throws the ball, we've talked about this too forever. The way he throws the ball, you're going, that's not supposed to happen that way. And it's just accurate as all shit.
Mm-hmm.
Wild to me. These two teams I really like watching play. I like this better than the Bills Chiefs.
Well, I like the Bills Chiefs game more.
This looked like a Big 12 game to me in the beginning.
Juju had a good game.
Yeah,
he did. He had a touchdown.
MVS finally had a good game. Mahomes, I mean, if those guys that are supposed to be catching the ball for him and making the plays, I mean, Mahomes is still Mahomes.
How long can Kelsey play like that?
Kelsey killed one of my parlays too.
What did he need?
The one.
But what did he need?
A touchdown.
A touchdown.
It was Kittle score touchdown, him to score touchdown, and then like both of them had like an over 50-yard. It was like one of those. It was a tight end day prop type deal.
Okay. I was gonna say they left Kelsey in the game right at the end because they were trying to get 100 plus yards, and I was hoping that wasn't what it was part of because they tried, and he dropped.
No,
it was a bad pass.
It was to get a touchdown for that. So.
Yeah. All right. So a little talk on the Christian McCaffrey trade. The Niners obviously acquired Christian McCaffrey from the Panthers this past week for 4 draft picks.
Wild.
That include 2023 second, third, and fourth round selections, plus a 5th round pick in 2024. Now, see, this is interesting because a lot of people were thinking if Christian McCaffrey is going to be traded from Carolina, it was going to be multiple first round picks that were going to be required. So it seems like the Niners got the best part of this deal.
I disagree with that 100%.
Go on.
I think that the Panthers need to rebuild. And I don't think they were ever going to get multiple first rounds. I don't think it was ever going to happen. McCaffrey's been hurt a bunch. The longevity of a running back's not there. I think the Panthers made out in that situation.
I'm going to vehemently disagree because the 49ers are now primed to potentially make a run. And the Panthers are at least 2 or 3 years away from being relevant again.
But they were 2 years from being relevant either way. At least this way, they're armed to build a foundation for the long haul.
Nobody likes draft picks anymore because they're not proven commodities.
I think they're poised to make the run down the road.
Okay, let's refer back to this in 3 years when the Panthers are still dog shit.
If we're still doing podcasts in 3 years, I'll be very happy, man. And you can tell me you're. That also means I have no life, but I'm okay with it.
Alex, what are your thoughts on the trade?
I'm more on board with Muff's take. I think this is a win for the 49ers. I think it's a win for the Panthers too. Right now it's easy to say this is a win more in the direction of the 49ers because we know that Christian McCaffrey is a proven entity in the NFL. Now down the line, we may look back like we did with like the Minka Fitzpatrick trade, and you're like, what are they doing? And then you're like, oh wait, that's what they were doing. So when someone comes up to be the new A-lister of the NFL from the Panthers from one of these picks, we might have a different take. Time will tell.
And what if they get Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State out of this pick?
Oh, who's throwing to him?
Thank you. I mean, that's what I thought too. After I said it, I was like, who's going to get him the ball?
Like I can say that's bad for them, but if PJ Walker's still slinging the rock, then we got
yeah, we
issues.
got a problem. Yeah, they got plenty of draft picks. Figure that out.
You might. Okay, live look-in Sunday Night Football. Steelers Dolphins.
0-0 last I checked.
No, Dolphins are winning 7-0 on a Raheem Mostert pass touchdown from Tua.
Hey, I had him. Yay!
Which one, Raheem or Tua?
Raheem.
Oh, is that somebody you traded?
No, I picked him up. Yeah, I'm really tired of your accusations.
It is 3rd and 3. Kenny Pickett drops back to pass, the ball's in the air, and he overthrows.
The ball's in the dirt.
So 4th and 3. Steelers are on fire.
All right. Punting away. And Monday Night Football with Patriots versus the Bears. Fade the Bears, fade the Bears, fade the Bears. Do we have
Let's go,
any reason-
Patriots.
We need the Patriots for the Punisher parlay to hit.
Let's go.
All right, that wraps up our NFL breakdown, which brings us into
College football breakdown.
That was good.
Thank you. So UT beats UT Martin. Tennessee beats them 65-24. Tennessee just beat the dog snot out of them. They face Kentucky next week and Georgia the week after. My question is, do they survive both of those games?
yes, they will still be alive.
You know what I'm saying, Muff. God, gotta be a jerk tonight.
Yeah, they're going to beat Kentucky, and Georgia's the marquee matchup. I mean, that's what we're waiting for.
Do you think they look ahead to Georgia and might get caught by Kentucky?
No.
I do not. I think they're too strong this year. Even in a down game, they're still going to win.
And I think that they have this solid team right now that I don't think is on like the looking past people. I mean, if they were looking
Fair
past
enough.
people, they wouldn't have beat UT Martin by 41 points. You know what I mean?
I agree.
If
Number
they-
5, Clemson struggles to put away number 14, Syracuse, coming out by the skin of their teeth, 27-21. Clemson, what?
This is so slanted.
That's the truth. They
Right.
almost didn't win at the end of that game, Muff.
But struggles? I mean, they're playing another top 15 team.
All right.
Well, Jim likes
Clemson heads to South
no.
Bend next week to take on the Fighting Irish. Muff.
So I will say that honestly, in defense of Jim, he is a Syracuse stan. So,
And a Clemson hater.
well, yeah, but is he saying struggled to put away? Like if he was like in a good game with Syracuse, would have made more sense for Jim to say.
They should have put Syracuse away as a number 5 team.
They did. They won. Moving on to next week.
Against Muff's favorite mascot, the leprechaun, and his Fighting Irish.
Okay, Muff.
Top 5 mascot.
You can do the notes next time, jerk. Number 6, Alabama bounces back and beats the hell out of Mississippi State 30-6. I think we all knew that was coming.
We did.
I kind of thought Mississippi State would put up a little more of a fight, to be honest. But
Then you're crazy.
well, I didn't think they'd win. I just thought
I'm
they would
pretty
put up-
sure Nick put a punching bag up in every one of their lockers and said, "Kill this." Pretty sure.
even
Number 7, Ole Miss is shocked and stifled by LSU and Baton Rouge, 45-20, and a very depressing game for me. Next week, Alabama goes to the Swamp to take on the idiot Brian Kelly and the Tigers.
He's going where?
I didn't put that in there.
I put the Swamp, but I meant to put Death Valley. But Jim was already talking when I read it.
So you goofed.
Yep, I did. I owned it immediately. So yes,
Thank
I
you.
did. There.
Or Muff screws me.
Next week, Bama goes to Death Valley to take on Brian Kelly and the Tigers.
Thank
Is Brian Kelly still an idiot?
you. Yeah.
I mean, he just
Just
got a
as a
good win.
person.
He's got a really good win. But see,
Fine.
so I found this out after the betting episode after we recorded,
Mhm.
that Ole Miss apparently was coming into this week's game
Hungover?
with like the 110th worst strength of schedule in the entire nation up to this week.
I don't buy
So
all
that
that.
was inflated slightly that they continued to win.
I don't buy that. That
You'll-
strength of schedule
you'll-
stuff is BS.
You'll buy it later when it suits Ohio State, I bet.
Michigan's got a worse strength of schedule than Ohio State. You're not going to hear me bitching about Michigan's strength of schedule. Like I don't buy it.
Okay. Well, obviously, Ole Miss wasn't prepared because they lost to the dummy Brian Kelly.
I believe they were unprepared for this game. I think Lane Kiffin was way off this time around.
LSU is now ranked.
Yep. You're welcome. Number 9, UCLA took a first half shelling from number 10, Oregon, and couldn't catch back up, losing 45-30. Was this your game of the week, Alex?
I mean, yes, that was going into this game, the game of the week. Did
Was it?
live up to the hype? No.
Okay.
Was it the game of the week going into the week? Yes.
Okay. Number 13, Wake Forest did its job, beating Boston College 43-15. They're number 13. Well, now they're more, but at this point, they were number 13. I did not see that coming. Number 21, Cincinnati plays a close game. They almost lose in the end, but pull it off against SMU 29-27.
I think that should say they struggled.
That would be a reasonable struggle.
Okay, Muff. They struggled.
Well, why can't Clemson pull off a close win against a ranked opponent, but Cincinnati pulls off the win
National
against an
champion.
unranked SMU.
National champion.
Oh, playoff.
Cincinnati. Whatever. Number 25 beats Memphis despite only scoring 3 points in the second half, winning 38-28.
Number 25, Tulane.
Yeah, thank you.
Not my 25.
All right, we're going to move on to the Big Ten breakdown. Muff's being a finicky bastard. Maryland improved to 6-2, beating Northwestern as they should have, 31-24. Wisconsin beats a upswing Purdue, 35-24. Is that an upset in the Big Ten?
No, Wisconsin was favored. I took them to win. They covered. Thank you very much.
Good. And the battle of who cares? Rutgers beats Indiana 24-17.
Rutgers does have a winning record.
That's Muff's rival. Don't talk about him like that.
You're right. I'm sorry. Penn State wins the game of Battleship, sinking the boat and beating Minnesota 45-17.
And the whiteout.
They did handle their business. They looked pretty good from the game.
Sean Clifford was the quarterback, Jim.
Oh, he showed up. He wasn't hurt. He worked down
They were
2
winning,
scores.
so he didn't have to be hurt.
Right.
They were winning, so he was
I
going
just wanted to make sure that you knew that Sean Clifford played that game.
Kind of reminds you of like little kid playing outside, like when your team starts to lose and then you have like this terrible injury. So you have,
I got a hangnail. Damn.
yeah, oh, I got to quit playing. I would have won. The game, I didn't technically lose because I wasn't still in the game at the end.
Ohio State, despite what the announcers were saying, handled Iowa more than even Michigan did, winning 54-10.
Was Gus Johnson on that call?
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you something, okay?
Is that who was on the call?
One of those Fox bastards. I don't know who it was. At halftime of the Iowa-Michigan game, it was 10-10. That was not the case in the Ohio State game. Did they have a defensive battle with Iowa? Yes. Did they come out and beat Iowa handedly? Yes. The spread was 30 at kickoff. I believe they covered that. I don't understand. I don't like Fox.
Was it Gus Johnson?
No, I think it was Joel Klatt.
With Gus Johnson, probably.
No, it wasn't Gus. Who's the other guy?
The guy who loves Iowa.
Gus is black, right?
Correct.
Gus was not on there. It was 2 white dudes.
Okay. I have no idea.
I didn't get to watch the game.
Very aggravating. My other
Gus probably said, "I'm not doing this game because I'm not gonna be able to cheer."
Probably. Then the other thing I want to talk about in this broadcast, Urban Meyer Okay,
why are we talking about Urban? They get in the chop house and do something stupid again.
will you just let me have my moment for a second? Urban Meyer looks like a neutered Urban Meyer. Like it's when he did his first Fox broadcast post Ohio State, he was very much the domineering. This is how we run plays. This is how I do things. Then he went to Jacksonville, kicked a punter, comes back, and he's just like he's not the same.
Maybe he was neutered by his wife for his actions.
And he should have been. He should have been. That's the Big Ten breakdown. Alex, this is your time to shine.
It is. We'll go to the Big 12. Number 8, TCU plays a horrible first half, but does come back to beat number 17, Oklahoma State in the second half, 38, and not Oklahoma State, Kansas State in the second half, 38-28. Texas started to look strong behind Ewers in the first half against number 11, Oklahoma State, but they end up losing the game 41-34 on a game-winning Spencer Sanders touchdown pass with approximately 3 minutes left to go in the game.
Rewind to TCU.
Yes.
You just want to gloss over the Big 12's only hope for the rest of the year that quickly.
I mean, I wasn't really glossing over, but sometimes whenever I start talking about the Big 12, Jim starts talking and I just get pissed. So
I haven't said a word.
Yeah.
So
TCU looks good.
Okay. I mean, they stayed undefeated. They're winning. And
For one half of football, they look good.
They started off a bad first half and came back, got their shit together, and beat another ranked opponent by 10 points. Yes, when you have a terrible first half and you come out and still win against.
And they covered.
Yeah, I'm saying
I cannot disrespect that. I'm not going to be like a Fox announcer. I agree with you, Alex. Kudos.
Thank you. Good teams win, great teams cover, right?
Kudos to you, sir.
So, and then we move to the other ranked Big 12 teams. Number 20, Texas, who is no longer going to be ranked, I'm sure. And number 11, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's climbing up. I mean, Texas is a good team, and they secured a good win against a good team.
I agree with that take.
So shockingly, at least to us, Baylor beats Kansas 35-23. Is this the end of the Jayhawk magic?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know what their schedule looks like the rest of the year, but they're about ready to head into the meat of it, if I were to guess, right?
Yeah. This is still respect. I mean, look at what Kansas did, how they were playing. They lost to.
They're bowl eligible, right?
Yeah, they should be. I think
that's all that matters.
But I just think really even their losses at this point aren't old school Kansas losses where they lost every game by like 35 points. So kudos to them for having a turnaround year. It doesn't all happen one year. Good direction. Well, I guess we'll just end the Big 12 talk there.
No.
WVU gets absolutely steamrolled by Texas Tech, 48-10. I am done with me now.
Well, you're going to be done next week. Next week's going to be ugly.
Away from me. Stat.
Are you just going to not watch WVU next week?
Oh, I'm still going to watch them because like you said, even when you lose every game, that's still like where my heart lies. But holy shit, is it getting hard?
That's going to be rough.
Okay, we're done. I have nothing good to say.
I'm going to let you live on that one. I'm not going
to. I'm not defending. I'm just saying.
Is there any more Thursday night games in your future?
That's the only time we have a chance.
He deflects every home game to Thursday night now.
Yes. I'm fine. Right. That's the best.
Let's go to the polls. The AP says Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Tennessee 3, Michigan 4, Clemson 5, Bama 6, TCU 7, Oregon 8, Oklahoma State 9, USC 10. Coach's poll says Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Tennessee 3, Michigan 4, Clemson 5, Bama 6, TCU 7, Oregon 8, Oklahoma State 9, and the difference being Wake Forest 10. I have it all the same for the top 4. I have Bama at 5, Clemson at 6, TCU 7, Oregon 8, Oklahoma State at 9, USC at 10. Alex, what do you have?
I have. Sorry, there was just a BS play in the freaking Steelers game. So
Explain, Alex. Give us the live thought.
the Claypool and one of their backs, Bethel, were running down the field for a long ball. Bethel literally comes up on Claypool's back, like knocks him down, like clear onto the ground, and the Dolphins intercept the ball because, well, they literally knocked our receiver down and there was no flag.
Give us
Sorry.
your polls, Alex.
Sorry. I just need to get that out. My polls coming in at number 1, the obvious pick, Georgia. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Tennessee. Number 4, Michigan. Number 5, Clemson. Number 6, TCU. Number 7, Alabama. Number 8, Oregon. Number 9, Oklahoma State. And number 10, cracking my top 10, is Wake Forest.
Logical, sound, goes with the flow. Now let's listen to this wackadoo poll list by Muff.
Oh, yeah, it's wackadoo because Ohio State's not number 2. Got it.
I don't know. No, you should leave them right
Geor-
where you have them. I like where you have them. It makes sense. The rest of your shit is crazy.
Oh, so Georgia 1, Tennessee 2 is crazy.
No, that's fine. Cool with that. Go ahead.
Ohio State at 3.
Fine.
Clemson coming off a ranked win over Syracuse. Jumps up to
What?
number 4.
The blue hell are you thinking?
They got a ranked win.
Okay, keep going.
I have an argument, but I'm going to save it until Muff finishes the list.
Bama continues to stay about where I think they should be at number 5. Michigan falls to number 6 because you know what? They didn't play this week, so I got nothing to judge them on. So they get.
I'm sorry, they beat the dog shit out of number 16 Penn State, but you're right. They should fall below
They
the
didn't
team
play.
that lost to Tennessee.
They didn't play. If
You're right.
if you're referring back to last week, if you're all of my wackadoo situation here, the reason that Ohio State fell in my poll last week is because I didn't get to watch them play. So they just fell.
Clemson barely beats Syracuse.
Oh, Clemson barely beats Syracuse.
Michigan beats the snot. out
Not
of
this
Penn
week
State.
they didn't.
Okay, fine.
Not this week they didn't.
I'm glad you and I aren't the ones making this decision because we'd be locked in that room for a long time.
Number 7. Number 6, I have Michigan. Number 7, I have TCU. 8, I have Oregon. 9, Oklahoma State. 10, USC.
Okay.
Like, who cares? We realize that none of this matters.
No, but this
Right
is the
now.
whole fun of this.
Right. And the fun of it is I'm setting up a number 1 versus 2 matchup in Georgia, Tennessee. That's what the fun I'm setting up is in 2 weeks. Let's play number 1 versus number 2.
Sure, and that's why I don't give a shit about those that you're setting up. That's fine. What I care about is
Why?
what the hell are you doing?
Clemson's undefeated.
So is Michigan.
I have a direct
Michigan didn't play this
argument.
week. I just told you.
I know. Well, listen, I have a direct argument with Muff. How
Go
does a team drop in the rank if they don't lose?
Who? Ohio
So
State?
Michigan.
They didn't play this week. I just told you.
Exactly. So if they don't play, I don't think they deserve to go down in the ranks.
That's
I think you
upsetting.
base it off of what their last win.
They also didn't get a chance to beat anybody like Clemson did.
Yes, but when Clemson has a bye, then and Michigan wins next week, are you going to flip flop them? I don't know if Clemson doesn't have a bye next week, but my point would be if they did, would you flip flop them if they both won?
Is that not what I did with Ohio State this week?
I just don't understand.
Let him go.
'Cause
I want to move
me-
on because you'll just argue with him all night.
To me, that's why.
To me, this is how I feel, Alex.
Okay.
So I want to get to the real meat and potatoes, like besides this crazy bullshit. How do you pick number 10? The USC Wake debate.
How do I pick?
Yes.
USC's a 1-loss Pac-12, and I just think they deserve to be in the top 10. Either one could be there. I really don't care. USC's the one I choose.
Alex?
I just think Wake had I think similar to the previous argument. So USC didn't play. Wake did play. Wake won. Wake moves up. I'm not moving USC down. I'm just moving Wake up. Do you know what I mean? If they both won this week, I would have had a tougher time picking.
So you're using Muff logic to move Wake up.
Sounds about right.
Not really. I'm kind of using my own logic by saying USC didn't play, so they don't deserve
So
to
weight
go
goes up.
or down. Yes, but Wake did play, so Wake goes up
No,
because they played.
That's
But that
my
doesn't
logic.
affect. But that doesn't affect USC.
but it did because they dropped out of your top 10 because of it.
Yeah,
Was USC in my top 10 last week?
but you're not moving them up to the top 10 because they had a bye.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't deserve to move up or down. If there's nothing extenuating that happened,
But was
there's no
USC
reason-
10 last week?
No,
I don't think they were.
No.
I have no idea where they were.
they weren't.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I had them in my top 10. That's what I'm saying. If they were 15th last week, unless they absolutely had to move because something crazy happened, I'd just leave them for 15.
This is why the eye test is better than all your guys' bullshit logic.
And Wake moves up and Syracuse drops out of the top 15, and that's how you keep them at 15.
This is why the eye test wins. All your other logic is bullshit.
Eye test is week to week,
Eye test
which is what I'm
doing.
which is what
Who
I'm
was the
doing.
best team
Which
today?
is what I'm doing, and you just argued with me on.
No, Michigan's a better team than Clemson, and you
Not
know
today,
it.
they are, and I didn't see
You're
them
full
play.
of shit. Let's get out of the polls.
Michigan's a better team than Ohio State too.
So basically,
Whatever you
what
want to say, both teams should be ranked higher than Clemson, who struggle with Syracuse.
I ranked
So,
Syracuse.
instead of looking at last week's top 10 when you do this, you just start from scratch. You're like, all right, what
Muff
team's the
stirs
best team?
shit. This is what he does every year. He stirs shit at the polls.
All right.
I look at my last week and I see what has happened or what has not happened. What has not happened, and what has not happened is certain teams don't play, so they just kind of sit there.
Muff plays the villain.
They boop.
All right. And that's the football breakdown. This is Mount Massive.
Yodelahee-hoo.
All right. If you're following along, this week's topic is top 5 sports that aren't sports per us. We may offend you. If that's the case, too bad. All right. I'm going to go first. My top 5. Bowling, then pool, then
Billiards.
Yes.
Billiards pool. Okay,
billiards pool,
just want to make sure.
then trampolining, then frisbee golf, then e-gaming. Those are my top 5. I'm going to kick it over to Muff.
Okay, number 5 on my list is road bowling.
What is road bowling?
You think of bocce-ish, but the goal is to roll the ball. It's usually associated. Irish road bowling is usually how you associate it. Is to get from point A to point B in the least amount of rolls.
Gotcha. Okay.
Number 4, I have darts.
Uh-huh.
180. Number 3, I have curling.
I have an offense. This offends me.
It's,
You just said you were not getting offended by this.
I said if you get offended, take a flying leap. But this,
I take a flying leap.
yeah.
Number 2, I have frisbee golf, and number 1, gambling.
So gambling in general, like there are some games that are skill. So are we saying all gambling?
I'm just putting gambling into a big old bucket.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
All
To
right.
you, Alex.
So I have disc golf, which you guys call frisbee golf, disc golf, whatever. Giant Jenga, blackjack, darts, and cornhole.
I'm glad you have cornhole on there.
It got us through the COVID, though.
The only thing that's still
Yeah.
going, the Johnsonville American Cornhole League.
Yep. I learned so much.
I almost made a last second change to include table tennis somewhere, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to kick out.
You can get sweaty though in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say table tennis almost crosses into sport territory compared to some of the other things. Like road bowling, I did once, and I really just the most athletic, the most strenuous part of it was that I had to pull the cooler. That was the workout for me.
I mean, my criteria was how much are you going to sweat?
Well, gambling, you can sweat a whole bunch.
Yeah, for different reasons, psychological stuff.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's not just psychological; it's real sweating.
Well, you're really sweating because of financial reasons.
And you guys both put darts. Like you can hurt your elbow with darts.
I actually have pulled a muscle if I haven't played darts in a while and play all night. You get that little, brachialis muscle right there.
Yeah.
What is trampolining, Jim?
So It's actually a sport. I looked it up. Well, it's not a sport as you know.
Maybe I think it is a sport. So,
It's
Honestly,
like when you
that was-
do flips and stuff.
like the single trampoline,
Yeah.
But to
jump
me,
real
that's
high.
like gymnasticsy. That might be a sport.
It's definitely part of a sport, right? It's part of training for a sport, I would imagine.
I'm just not all about it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
It's fun. It's cool. Not a sport.
All right. You're entitled to your opinion.
And if you, the listener, want to object or want to throw a list at us of not sports, hit us up on the socials. And that is Mount Massive.
Diddle-a-hee-hoo.
This is start, bench, or cut. There we go. We have our intro.
Same noises I made last time, but I think I might just be one of those ones where I just let it come over me,
I liked it. All right. So we got 4 topics. I'm very happy with these topics today. Okay. These are tough.
All right.
Off.
I'm gonna start you out with the softball ones. Be pretty easy.
Penn State.
Baseball, hockey, basketball. Which one do you start? Which one do you bench? Which one do you cut?
I got this one.
Go ahead.
Starting hockey, benching basketball, cutting baseball.
Ooh.
But I go back. Are we talking about playing or watching?
I'll let you decide.
If I'm going with like fandom and what I enjoy watching and being a part of, then I stay by my choice.
Okay.
I'm also going to start hockey. I'm going to bench baseball and cut basketball, though.
I am going to.
So,
Go ahead.
wait, is this? I think I need to. Is this all of basketball, or is this professional sports?
All of basketball.
Yeah,
Okay, then I'm sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go back.
Baseball's got to go then.
Okay.
I can't cut March Madness out of my life.
Okay. I am going to cut basketball. I'm going to bench. What I say? I'm going to cut baseball.
You said cut basketball, but
I'm going to bench basketball. I'm going to start hockey.
we all have the same answer.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
One thing. There's no episode.
And next is sports places. Madison Square Garden, Fenway, Lambeau.
Ooh.
I'm going to cut MSG.
Ooh,
Going
okay.
to bench Fenway. I'm going to start Lambeau. It's something about an
Saw
outdoor
that coming.
and it's something about an outdoor environment for me, and that's what does it.
Yeah, and Rodgers just happens to be there. You're right.
There's more than just a history of Green Bay than Aaron Rodgers, Jim. Well, we don't want to talk about Brett Favre right now.
Thank you.
That was. So I will start Fenway for the historical aspect in, like Muff said, the outside atmosphere, which leads me to benching Lambeau and cutting Madison Square Garden.
Oh, you guys. I'm going to start Madison Square Garden. I'm going to bench Fenway, and I'm cutting Lambeau.
Yeah, because you like to watch fixed sports, like boxing. Got it.
Lambeau's cold, fellas.
Doesn't have to be. We don't have to go there in December.
All right. Here we go. I have 2 rounds of sports greats.
Okay.
Greg's? Sports
Greats. Greats. That's funny. All right. Jordan, LeBron, Kobe.
Easy.
Go ahead then.
Start Kobe, bench Jordan, cut LeBron.
I'm starting Jordan, benching Kobe, cut LeBron.
So we all agree we're going to cut LeBron. That's fine. This is where I struggle. I'm going to start Jordan, bench Kobe. And I think this is the age thing right here.
Yeah, Kobe was my all-time like sports icon, like idol when I was growing up. So I'll never say anything except for start Kobe.
Yeah.
Okay. Last round of greats. Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Djokovic.
Start Federer, bench Novak, cut Raf.
Start Novak, bench Federer, cut Nadal. I don't know enough about tennis. Those are just in the order of the names that I like.
I'm going to.
That's
I'm
my
a-
decision. Full disclosure.
I'm going to cut Djokovic. I'm going to start Nadal. I'm going to bench Federer.
Why do you want to start Nadal? I just need to know your reasoning for that.
Order of
If
names
it's
I
if
like.
it's just to be contrary, then that's fine.
No, order of names I like.
Okay.
I was with Alex on that one.
I'm glad we're all in the same major.
Yeah. And that is start, bench, and cut. This is Quick Thoughts.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Quick Thoughts. We'll start in college football, and we're just going to keep this first topic short and sweet. Remember, I have the right to gong you, and you have to be gonged when I gong. Ohio State plays Penn State this week.
Who's going first?
Jim.
I'm just going to put some facts out there. James Franklin is 2-10 against top 10 teams, 11-17 against top 25 teams, 1-7 against Ohio State, 3-5 against University of Michigan, 3-5 against Michigan State, and he signed a $70 million deal that goes till 2031. I believe he is a fraud, and I believe that will be proven on Saturday.
Muff?
Okay, now to actually talk about facts that may be helpful to the listener, to the viewer about the game, not about their head coach. Penn State, in order for Penn State to be competitive in this game, they have to
Get a new coach.
Alex?
Jim? That was out of line.
I apologize.
They have to make Ohio State one-dimensional. And by one-dimensional, they need to make Ohio State throw the ball 40 times in this game. They have to be able to stop the run. Unfortunately, that has not been their strength this year, as Michigan showed. But if Penn State can force Ohio State to throw the ball more than they run the ball, Penn State does have strong defensive backs that can at least make plays. I do not trust Penn State's front seven to compete against Ohio State all day in the run game to make this work. If Ohio State can get the run game going, Ohio State will have a handed victory in this one.
That was big of you, Mo. Thank you.
I couldn't tell if Jim wanted to say something. He started pursing his lips, and I was really proud of him for his restraint after his warning.
I just wanted to know which dimension Muff wanted to shut down, and then he explained it. So
okay. All right. Moving on now before things get any farther. The SEC has fined LSU another six-figure fine for storming the field Saturday after beating Ole Miss, this time to the tune of $250,000. This is the third time that they have been fined. Tennessee was fined $100,000 for the Alabama storming. I liked to add the fun note, and I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but Tennessee's president, Randy Boyd, was in his little box, and he's literally up there smoking a cigar in the box, and someone has him just on like a cell phone video, and they're like, Randy, how much is that going to cost? And he turns around, it doesn't matter. We'll do this every year. And I was like, football guy, Randy. I like him. It's like, not worried about that.
Yeah. Who's paying it? That's all I want to know. Is this the school paying it? Because if the school's paying it, then I have some concern with this, because if I don't know if that's a good use of university funds, right? I mean, you have to see, you can say that it's coming directly from the football budget, and that will, I think, make people feel better. But even then, I don't think this is a good use of university funds to pay for storming the field. Granted, the people that are storming the field are probably students who are paying the tuition to make that happen and that pay the ticket prices and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I just don't like that it's this high of a fine. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a deterrent, but it's going to happen no matter what.
Jim?
To your special note, that's hilarious. To Muff's point, I agree. My point in all this is LSU did this 3 times. How do they have 3 times to storm the field?
Joe Burrow?
But I think it's 3 times this year.
I highly doubt it's 3 times this year.
I hope not.
If it is, then yeah, they've got issues.
Brian Kelly, they expected so little. But every time they win, they just storm the field.
Hey,
we did it.
And I don't think beating Ole Miss warranted storming the field. That's just my.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, if they win this week, it would warrant storming the field.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at their schedule now to see if I could see them storming their field. Any other time they beat New Mexico at home, that's a barn burner. Mississippi State is home, and a Southern U. That was probably it. All right.
Ridiculous.
Alabama coach Nick Saban said that he had reason not to suspend the receiver Jermaine Burton from Saturday's game against Mississippi State after a video surfaced that appeared to show Burton striking a woman who stormed the field when Tennessee beat the Crimson Tide last week at Neyland Stadium. I didn't think it was necessary to suspend the guy, Saban said. If you knew the whole story, maybe you wouldn't either, but I'm not going to divulge that. I don't know how many of you have ever been in a situation like that, but I talked to Burton. He was scared. I was scared. Some of our other players were scared. I also wanted to note that apparently I was reading an article about this today, and apparently there was some mention of him having to go to some sort of therapy as well. But they also really push home the issue that it wasn't an anger management issue. So
I want to say this. I'm going to tread real lightly. Okay.
Yeah.
Tennessee.
That's not why people came to the show.
All right, fine. Fuck it. Tennessee's a team that threw batteries at Lane Kiffin, and there was a riot and all of that when they played Ole Miss last year. Tennessee is not the most diversity-friendly place anyway. I am not ever going to condone smacking a female. Let me just make that really clear. I have to believe this woman may have said the N-bomb to this individual. That doesn't mean he should smack her, but I gotta believe that had to have been said for Nick to be like, you don't know the whole story.
Right. I'm with Jim, not condoning really striking really anybody, but definitely Donovan striking a woman in this case.
Oh, hold on, Muff. Hold on a second. If a dude had said the N-bomb to him, that dude has every right to knock him out. My personal opinion. Just for me. That's my take. I don't work where everybody works. That's my take. However, if the female dropped the N-bomb, I don't believe he should smack her. That's my take.
But you're not mad about it. People can't hear your hands, Jim. But
my hands are up as if to say, meh.
So, everything with the Tennessee stuff in the past, like there is a history there. I haven't seen this video. When people say he appears to have struck her, I don't know what that means. There could be a lot of different things going on. Like he's spinning around to get away from somebody else, and as he's spinning, he hits somebody. Like until I see this video, I haven't seen it, so that's why I'm asking.
I agree. If he pie faced her, just hand and pushed her away, say in a stiff arm motion.
Right. That's why I don't know what striking means. Like obviously,
Yes.
if it's not like a full blown like haul out punch somebody, or else it would have been definitely an issue.
So I'm watching it now, and it almost looks like what he's doing is smacking a phone out of her, like she's holding something up, and he goes like this and hits more at the phone than her. But it's hard because the only videos are like they're not obviously don't have a good one anymore. It's like
probably grainy and from distance and all that, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
so I am I'm interested, and I have no right to know this information of what the history for this young man is. Like maybe he has some level of PTSD, like something from his past. I don't know. That's pure conjecture. I have no right to know it, but just curious.
It's kind of a stiff arm push away smack.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah. So
he didn't like punch her in the face. Or like he didn't like stop and hit her either. You know what I mean? He was walking and kind of like pushes the phone because there's a video of it from her phone. You know what I mean? Like his hand coming at, so you can tell that was. I don't know what happened to. I'm not condoning it. There's always an answer better than violence in most.
I agree.
But after seeing that video, I'm like, wow. I mean, I thought I was expecting like he like walks up out of his way to like shove her down.
The Ku Klux Klan was founded in Pulaski, Tennessee.
All right.
Could have been
And-
voters dropping the bomb in there.
And the article "the" was trademarked in Ohio.
Sure.
We're talking about things that may not have any bearing on our conversation.
All right, we're moving on to the NFL. NFL owners voted 31-1 on Tuesday to permit their compensation committee to open negotiations on a new contract with Commissioner Roger Goodell, but not before two of the league's most powerful owners, the Dallas Cowboys' Jerry Jones and the New England Patriots' Robert Kraft, engage in a heated exchange. Sources said Kraft joined the overwhelming majority in strong support for the measure, with Jones, the lone dissenter, Jones telling Kraft, "Don't F with me." And Kraft replied, "Excuse me?" He says, "Don't mess with me." Jones said the measure was then passed.
Does this not seem, I'm sorry, is it Muff's turn?
Yeah, it's your turn. It's your turn.
Does that not seem odd? Just the way it was presented. Like, and I've read the article like 4 times and I'm trying to find other articles. This just seems odd that, like, to me, that was characterized as, okay, all those in favor, aye. All eyes go up. All those opposed, there's Jerry. All right, the motion passes. And then Jerry looks at Kraft and goes, "Don't F with me." Like, what? Don't mess with me. Okay, Jerry, you're crazy.
Here's what I don't never mind it. Muff talk first.
Oh no, Alex, I want you to have your conversation first, and then I'll
I
have my
just am
opinion.
confused why it's not like it was like a split decision where it was like, 16-16 and then Kraft jumps sides and sways the vote. Like it was 31-1. Like,
Right. This is Jerry being like, "Oh, I got to be the one. If I'm the one, then people are going to know I was the one, and then I'm going to get some playtime, and they're going to talk about Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott this week, gunning and slinging down the field." Like, Jerry's always a dissenter. If Al Davis was around, Al Davis would have been a dissenter in this one too. Like, and Jerry's like, "I got to hold on to this for as long as I can because I'm the one."
But I don't know why he's picking at Kraft.
Well, because Jerry hasn't got caught yet getting a tug job yet.
so why is
He just gets caught. He just gets caught with family that nobody knew about, and now he has to pay him off. That's Jerry's thing.
Here's what I think. Jerry and Kraft had talked on the side and said, "Hey, here's how we're going to vote against this thing. I don't care that all these other efforts want to. We're going to stick together, and we're going to, vote against and stay strong." And then at the last second, Kraft's like, "Man, I really don't feel like causing a scene," so he just jumps ship and leaves Jerry on his island by himself. And Jerry's pissed that he left him on an island by himself.
Yes, I can see that's possible.
Like if say there was us three and then like 3 other people, and we were voting on where to get pizza, and me and Muff were like, "We're saying DeCarlo's either way because that's what we want." EGP. And then he was like, "Everyone else had Domino's. That's fine." I'm like, "Dude, you didn't even fight with me."
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's the angle I can see. The only thing that makes sense.
Yeah. That's fine.
All right. Moving on from the ownership level. Wait, nope. We're going to stay at the ownership level. Sorry.
Yeah.
Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay held an explosive interview scrum at the fall meetings Tuesday and called Dan Snyder's missteps as owner, particularly with workplace misconduct, gravely concerning. "I believe there is merit to removing him as the owner of the Commanders. There's consideration that he should be removed."
Did he say dum 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 dum?
Yep.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure that he's on board.
It's Muff's up on this one.
Yeah, it's definitely me. So the Irsay name is well known. We'll say somewhat respected within the NFL history. His father as well, right? So we've got the Irsay name. Somebody, it couldn't be Jerry that was going to speak out on this because Jerry just was there. Couldn't be Bobby. So we got to say, who's the name that we have that hasn't done anything wrong in a long enough time? Well, Jim Irsay hasn't been snorting the white candy for a while, so let's put Jim out there. I think he's the one. He's the one. People recognize him, and it's been long enough that they're like, he's better now. We're good. So somebody was going to be doing it, and it wouldn't have been a Rooney, right? It wouldn't have been the Rooneys because they wouldn't get caught up in this.
No.
They'll do their pieces in the back end. That's why they're diplomats for Ireland. So they do all their dealings in the back room. So it's very, I think, telling that they finally have come out publicly and somebody's quote unquote representing the owners in this fight. So I see Dan Snyder being out within the next 12 to 18 months.
So Dan Snyder came out earlier and was like, I got all the dirt on all y'all. And the owners got together and were like, all right, we got to come out there and say we oppose him. Who are we going to send? And Jim was like, listen, once he got on me, I do coke, come get some. And he was like, listen, we got to get rid of that guy. And Dan was like, what am I going to say? He does coke. I'm pretty sure the guy's proud of it.
And everybody already knows this.
Yeah. Jim was the Teflon Don in this situation to send. There was no touching Jim Irsay on this one. So good on him for saying something.
Right.
So I'm okay with this. Good job.
I'll give him that. Let's move on to the baseball world, huh?
Wow.
Baseball.
The Yankees. The Yankees versus the Astros, and the Phillies have taken out the Padres officially today after a 4-3 win to move on to the World Series. Houston leads the series over there 3-0, and are playing as we record. Do either of you care?
Yankees are up 3-0.
Okay.
Just so we're clear. Do I care? I could give a shit less.
You
So
could
here's my
give
question.
more shits less. Or you could
That's
not
true.
give a shit less.
I could not give a shit less.
Okay.
So my question, follow-up to that is, Jim, are the Astros still cheating bastards forever, or because it's been enough years, are we forgiving?
I want them to beat the Yankees because I hate the Yankees.
Okay, this is the dilemma I was in.
They'll get a pass for this series, but then the next series they will be cheating bastards.
So this isn't. We're going into the AL and NL championship series, correct?
Yes, we are
We're
in
not
those now. We're in those now.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are going to the World Series.
Yes, the Phillies are in the World Series. This is to go to the World Series.
Okay. See, that's how much I care.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to basketball, another sport Jim loves. Adam Silver talks about teams tanking for better spots in the draft and says the league is looking into it. They have looked into relegation, where like soccer, the two worst teams would go to the G League and the best teams from the G League would move up, but fears it would disrupt the current business model. He has put teams on notice, though. Any thoughts on the situation, Muff?
There's too much money in the NBA versus the G League for this to happen. This is an idle threat. It's never going to go down. Our team's tanking. Teams are tanking by trading away their best players. That's how they're tanking, right? They're talking about the Suns because the Suns and Devin Booker, blah, 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 blah. We already know the players have all of the control in this league. Why are we going to put ownership at even more of a disadvantage for, hey, all of our players decided to get together and go to this one team, which left us with nothing? Yeah, we're going to tank because we want to try to get the once in a lifetime player that may be coming out this year in 7'4", I forget what his name is. Adam Wembanyama, maybe. I forget the last name.
Is it the French guy, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe he is French. So, and basketball is so unique. Basketball is just like hockey, right? We have generational players that come out so often. Football, you have maybe 15 or 16 players each year that you were saying are the talents. And every once in a while you have somebody that you say is a generational talent, but how often do they pan out? In basketball, you play for those because they only come along every once in a while. And even in some years in basketball, top 5 picks aren't touted. They're not people that we're like are really excited for all the time. So nobody watches basketball draft after like the top 3 or 4 picks. So yes, I'm okay with teams doing this, but I don't think they should be relegated.
Jim?
I agree with Muff's original point that the money there does not make it possible. I do, however, believe they should do this, even though it's not feasible, because I think the entertainment value is there and it would deter people from tanking. Like, I would love to see the Nuggets and I don't know, name another basketball team that sucks. The Bulls.
The
Thunder go to the G League, and then we get 2 teams from nowhere get brought in. I think it'd be awesome. I think it expands the market. I think that could be great.
Well, here's
build up from the G League to the top of the NBA.
Right. And this is what I would love to see that too. I'm not going to disagree that wouldn't be great, but the G League is not set up to do that. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Like I
the
said,
problem.
I don't think you logistically it works, but I think the premise of it would be
Right.
fantastic.
Right. Soccer, it's cool. It's cool we have those stories in the soccer world, but
Yeah.
it's also because those are professional clubs that are operating outside of the situation.
Yes.
In the NBA, this is like a AAA team in baseball being
Yeah.
promoted.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not built for that.
I think the concept of it is interesting, saying like, and I like the thought of like punishing the bottom two teams to add more spice, but I also see, like you said, like the business side and just the logistics side. All right, out of basketball into NASCAR, a follow-up topic from last week. Bubba Wallace was suspended for a race, and Kyle Larson wins this week's race. Jim?
It just chaps my ass. Like, Bubba Wallace, should he have hooked him in an era and after the death of Dale Earnhardt so many years ago in these cars that are not the safest? Should he have hooked him? No. But the fact that Kyle Larson goes and wins the next race, like, it just pisses me off. I don't like it.
Just angry.
Yeah,
this is like the ultimate villain situation in the sport playing out. Oh, a person who personally was not the object of a statement you made, but is the face of the statement you made within your sport, gets kicked out of a race for something that happened, and you're the one that ends up winning. Like,
yeah, it's bad poop.
Yeah, it's bad poop. Let's move on to something more fun. UFC president Dana White's new combat sports venture is slap fighting. It will be a licensed athletic competition in Nevada. Muff?
Well, who's your intern, Jim?
Randy.
Randy, talk about this.
Yeah.
I want to. White. This would be interesting. This will be cool. We'll see where it goes. With Dana White, at the very least, saying it, obviously gives it some credence to start. Can we not, for one quick second, just talk about how Hezbollah is 1-0 as a coach in the UFC?
Yeah, also true.
Jim, do you have any comments on slap fighting?
So have you guys watched slap fighting?
Yes, I've seen like videos of
because Randy showed us.
Right. So, number one, the slap fighting thing. The Fertitta brothers are back. They are part owners in this with Dana. Yeah. So they put some power behind this. They're going to add weight classes to it. They're going to add all the medical stuff that MMA has. So they're going to make it legitimate. Whereas like a 200-pound person versus a 150-pound person can slap the shit out of each other. They've done away with that. There's weight classes. I just don't know what this says about society when people are signing up to slap the ever-loving hell out of each other and to stand there and take it.
I think it would be more fun if you could like call out someone from your workplace to be your opponent.
Workplace slap box, sanctioned workplace slap boxing.
Like, I challenge you to the slap box, and you can say no, you don't want to go to the slap box, but you have to know that I challenged them to the slap box last week, and they're still running their mouths, so that's on them.
But in MMA, like in boxing, you can put your hands up. This is a sport where you have to keep your freaking hands down.
Oh, it makes me sick to watch.
Yeah,
I don't know if I could watch it again, to be honest.
And like this is going to be on TV.
At a time whenever the NFL is cracking down on concussion stuff.
Thank you.
We're beating the shit out of each other's heads.
But you know what? People are going to watch it.
Absolutely.
So we're going to go from aggressive to more docile sport, golf. Jonah Hill is set to play John Daly in a biopic about Daly's life. Does anyone else we think could be playing John Daly in this one?
Danny McBride.
Jim,
he doesn't know who Danny McBride is, the man from Eastbound and Down.
I love Muff's choice. If I had to throw somebody out there, Zach Galifianakis.
Okay. My personal take was I think we just let John Daly play himself and be like, hey, John, reenact whenever you did this.
Or we just have Little John do it.
That's you need the stature isn't there really, you know?
Oh, no, he is.
Yeah, but no. Yeah,
all accounts say that Little John is John Daly, just college aged.
Yeah. I think it would be
All right.
let John Daly read.
So like his son.
Yes, that's who Little John is.
Oh, you
Jim.
need to clarify, like Little John.
Oh. Like,
I
yeah,
was like, Muff.
okay.
John Daly Jr.,
Okay, thank you. I was like,
aka Little John.
I think Muff's got me all kinds of confused.
Wow. On that note, I think that wraps up Quick Thoughts.
Let's wrap up Quick Thoughts, and it wraps up this week's episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. As always, remember you can catch all the episodes with some clips here and there on the YouTube. Make sure that you get us on Spotify. Make sure you get us on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you get us wherever you listen to. And if you're not able to get to us, let us know so we can get onto your platform. Remember, get on YouTube, subscribe, rate, comment, review. Interact with us on social media. Tell us what you think about what we're doing so this rocket ship can keep going to the moon. And to get there, we need you all to do the things, live out the motto, and you need to tell a friend, make a friend, be,
Friend.